Welcome to Still Dripping Happy Hour. Welcome to the Still Dripping Happy Hour. This is your host Mason. On the move tonight, we got DK.
Once a month, man, right here.
Once a month, man. And if you're joining us on YouTube, you've already seen his face. But we got Trey from Music City Vintage. Welcome in, Trey.
Hello. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a long wait for us. I know we haven't reached out enough to you to get you on here, but I think last time when we had Justin, we talked about it before the show. We had him about maybe over a year ago, and I think you had just had a child, maybe.
Yeah,
or
sounds. I think probably a little bit. She's about 1.5 now, so she's probably like still relatively new.
Yeah, you were still going through sleep deprivation and all that.
Oh yeah.
Congrats on the sex, by the way. That's super exciting.
Hey man. Every now and then, you know what I'm saying?
Confirmed once.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Even if there's a par 5, you eventually got to get it in there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thanks, Dan, for kicking us off perfectly. That's not what this podcast is about, but we'll keep on moving anyways. So if you all don't know Trey, we're gonna let him introduce himself. And so just tell us, who is Trey? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, where you're from, and how you got into what you do now.
Okay. Hello, my name is Trey Broyles. I am co-owner of Music City Vintage. I was raised in Nashville, born in Hawaii. Grew up basically out in South Nashville. Wasn't like pretty much, I would say, just a normal kid, normal guy. Put my fucking pants on one leg at a time. Grew up just like I said in South Nashville, went to like Paragon Mills, Hardin Place. If you know where the smoker is, you know exactly what I'm talking about on Hardin Place. Grew up not even far from there. Had a great childhood. Slowly got into clothing and vintage probably in like 10th, 11th grade. Me and my partner, Justin, kind of just started going to the bins back in the day. It's crazy. It's always weird talking about like just like the past of like my childhood growing up because I don't really ever talk about it.
Yeah.
Think about it.
What year was 10th or 11th grade then?
10th or 11th grade would have been probably like 2010, 2011.
You were really on that then. I mean, this was not like round 2 situation. This was like y'all were at the beginning.
The bins, man. That's humble.
Yeah. I remember we used to work at like Firehouse out over by 100 Oaks.
Yep.
And I remember I used to not necessarily be super heavy into vintage clothing. I was more on the like tech side, so like Game Boys, video games, things like that. That was more of like the nostalgia for me. I'm big on tech, just like tech products and stuff like that. So like old Apple stuff, anything kind of like that is my like thing that I love to like mess with. And so, but hanging out with Justin and going to the bins and things like that, just kind of slowly like grew the appreciation for like more of the vintage clothing and things like that. And it was cheap. Let's be honest. That was the reason why back in the day. It was cheap.
Yep. Pay by the pound, baby.
Pay by the pound. Like 79 cents. Can't beat that.
Man, that's so you said 2010, 2011 was when you were at the bins. That's probably when I first found out about the bins as well. That's interesting. We probably met there in a past life.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
So
Dan, what were you going to say?
How did you come from Hawaii to South Nashville? What happened?
Both my parents were in the military. And then pretty much once they had me, they're like, well, I think we kind of want to get out. My dad was from Humboldt, Jackson area.
Yep.
And my mom is from San Francisco. And so I guess they didn't want to live in a small town. They were just like, Nashville's far big enough and farther away enough that if you need to go back, you can.
Yep.
But it's not like it's at that time. It was not like super huge as it is now, like super growing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's dope. Have you? Do you ever go back to Hawaii?
Have never been back since.
Never been back.
That is one of the goals in life is to get back there
You can make that happen.
and just kind of see.
You can make that happen. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Music City Vintage, how you guys started out, and then just coming up through the tornado, COVID, all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Pretty much before Music City Vintage was Music City Vintage. It was just a bunch of just us friends just hanging out, trying to find something to do. So we would go to the bins, we'd hit flea markets, things like that, go to the thrift stores, your thrift smarts, your Music City thrifts, things like that, and hang out. I want to say that we picked clothes all day, but to be honest with you, we pretty much just bullshitted in the bins half the day while we were there. We are just kind of like stand around, joke around, do stuff, and then actually probably like 30% of the time actually dig and like look for stuff. But we were doing that, and we weren't doing it for money back then. Like the crazy part is like when we first started doing it, it was just more about just like you get a unique look. You don't look like everyone because at that time, like when you went to school, it was like straight polo Ralph Lauren boots, like khakis and like polos and stuff like that. So like it wasn't like a lot of just like flair to it. So it was just like a one way to kind of add a little bit of flair to your like outfits and things like that.
Did you go to Glencliff for high school?
Yeah, we went to Glencliff,
Nice.
right in Paragon Mills, growing
Nice.
up. So home of the Colts. Let me see. When we first kind of decided to like sell to the public, it was probably like I think 2016, 2015, something like that. And I remember it was like April or May, but it was hot as I'm not gonna say that word. It was hot. It was hot outside. It had to be somewhere between 80 to 95. It was hot. And I remember the first day that we kind of really set up. It was so I remember the parking spaces were 10 by 20. Our tent was 10 by 10. So there's a 10-foot missing in there that we just didn't have covered. And we weren't in the shaded area by any means necessary. And so we would just sit there and just like be roasting just like a rotisserie chicken out there, so the customers could like check out in somewhat cooler setting. But it's really nice. Like I'm always thankful for those days, because I'm trying to remember how we actually originally started there. I think me and Justin used to live like literally like I lived on third floor, he lived on second floor. And like we shared a storage, like we eventually started sharing a storage unit and we're just like, yo, we got too much stuff. We got too much stuff here, man. And by we, I mean our wives. Our girlfriends at the time are our wives now. So they have stuck through all of the stages of Music City Vintage. They were there before Music City Vintage, and they were still here with Music City Vintage. I won't say after Music City. But I remember Justin came to me and he was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about selling at the flea market because we used to just go there to buy." And he was like, "Yo, I've been thinking about selling at the flea market. You were down to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, like let's do it. Let's set it up. How do we do it? Like how? So like, do we just like go like walk there and just like put some stuff up? Like what do we do?" And we originally were just like, all right, let's get some Walmart racks. Let's get out here. Walmart racks did not work. They fell apart, but it was a beautiful time. You can't, and it's just like those times were just like super, super simple. And that was like, sometimes you miss that part about it where it's just like, it's super, super simple. It's just like, you're just going out there.
Yep.
But yeah.
I was gonna say, I think, yeah. By the time we met you guys in the flea market, you guys had figured out the tricks of inside and all that other stuff. So you graduated past that, which would have been what, Dan, 2018?
Yeah, yeah,
It,
yes.
it was a few months before you opened your store. So when
Okay.
was that? Walk us
We
through
op-
that.
we opened our store in December. Officially opened our doors in December 2018. The funny part is, I know remember you guys meeting us in Wilson Hall. The funny reason why we ended up in Wilson Hall, no lie, is we had always been outside, rain, shine, anything. There's a video, if you go back far enough on our like page, there's a video of me and Justin sitting underneath a tarp on top of our tent, and it is torrential rain. Torrential rain. And it is just like you can't move. Like there was like nothing we could do. We just had to sit there and like be stuck in the rain because it was just like if you moved any of the clothes, they are soaking. They were soaking. And I remember that was the time where we are just like, all right, yeah, we gotta go inside. We gotta go inside. We can't do it. We're like, it's more expensive, but we don't gotta worry about rain. Rain or shine, does not matter. You can still find us inside.
And you guys also, I guess, I mean, this makes sense considering you did open a store a few months later, but you guys had people coming to the flea market just for you, right? It wasn't just random people.
No, and it's crazy because we still have like those some of those customers still even come through the shop all the time, and it's always cool to see them because we when we first started, we were just selling old jerseys, cool vintage. It was mostly just sports apparel, right? Like Raiders, NFL, NBA, hockey, things like that. And we slowly evolved through the as we were getting bigger in the flea market. And while we were doing that, we started having these consistent people come in that's like, oh, I just come to the flea market every month, and you guys are my favorite booth. I'm always excited to see you guys. And to the point where we had people driving from like Huntsville, like, hey man, I'm trying to trade some stuff in at the booth. I'm here on Saturday trying to trade some stuff in. Are you guys taking trades? So we were just like, yeah. If you want to walk it up that hill, hey, we'll be more than happy to look through it, work something out with you. And so that's how a lot of people just kind of just like came to know us. And then we created the Instagram while we were there as a way of just like letting people know when the actual flea market was, because it's never on the same exact day. It's like on like a weird, it's like the third weekend of the month. So it's like no one ever remembers the actual weekend until it's like, oh snap, it is the weekend of the flea market. But it's always really cool just to like, see people that return, and that people were supporting us like back then when we didn't even have a name. We were just like some guys like, hey, thanks for coming back. We'll be in the same spot next month. Just come back and see us.
When was there like a month where you were like, this is I mean, was it like fun money? Was it like just like, hey, like we'll get more money so next week we can go back to the bins and spend, like find more stuff? Or was it just like something you could do with time and like you happen to make money while doing it?
The answer is yes. Back then, like we both had full-time jobs, so it wasn't like it was like money that we absolutely needed. It
Sure.
was pretty much just like fun money and also money to go buy more stuff.
Yep.
To be honest with you, it was probably more just buy stuff.
Yep.
We'd probably spend a third. Sometimes we would spend probably like half the money that we made that weekend going out in the flea market and just buying stuff out and taking it to the storage unit. We're like, oh man, this trash can, fire. we'll put it. Let's put this little trash can next to one of these racks, and just but it was good looking back because it's just like it was a way of reinvesting to like more inventory, but also it was just like We didn't know what we were doing. We were just like, hey, we made $1,200. Let's go spend another $600 on that guy's booth over there because he has some really good stuff. Cool. And then we spend like another like $100 just eating food throughout the whole weekend. Like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's good. That's nice.
Is there one find from the flea market that you'll be like, man, that was like the grail of the grail, either before you had a booth yourself or when you were just going out and spending the money you were making at the booth? I mean, was there that one thing it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I found this at the flea market?
Man, there's gonna be honest with you, there's a lot. So I think one of the craziest ones that I can remember from when we were selling at the flea market was there was these people who bought storage units and they would set up right behind Wilson Hall. And so like normally never had shit. Nothing at all. But then like it was just this one random month that they just had probably like 25, 30 old, like new old stock Preds jerseys that were like the yellow mustard jerseys, like the original like jerseys, but they were all like, like you could always tell the bad ones back then.
Yep.
But like they were all there, and like it was crazy because they were just like, yeah, we bought this storage unit, and it just had all of these things in it, and they were like, it just had so much old hockey gear in it, and it was just as if like it was like an equipment person's or something like that. But it was just like all these old jerseys, and like looking back on it, when I tell you, we didn't know how much like mustard jerseys were worth and things like this. Like they were just like they were just like, we're just like, we'll buy them all. Boom. Probably bought 20, 25 jerseys or something like that. And I remember like bringing them back to the booth because like what we would do and kind of not have a monopoly, but like have a competitive advantage is we were able. So one of the benefits of having a booth at the flea market was you could get in with everyone else. And so like it didn't open to the public till 8:39. Well, we're able to roll in at 6. So like we're already making rounds like, oh, what does the new people have? What's hanging up? And so like I would just like me and Justin would just kind of get there and just like walk around for like the first like hour and a half that we were there, like, hey man, we gotta make sure we come back to this person's booth. They're not here yet, but they look like they got something right there. And that's one of the things we would do. As well as just like randomly leave our booth and just go and find and walk around when we got bored. But yeah, so and it was crazy because like we used to sell these mustard jerseys. Now that I think about it, it's just crazy. Like we sold these mustard jerseys for probably like $60, and we were just like, man, we're making killing. Like now, like you look back on this and you're just like, damn man, mustard jerseys were like $250 even back then. It's just like, man, we were selling these things for $60, man. There's probably some people that came in, they're like, man, they are cool. They're letting these things go cheap. But that's part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when Justin was on, he had mentioned, so you guys went on to open your store, and it came time for one of you guys to work in the store, and that means one of you had to quit your job, and he told us that was you. And pretty much work in the store full time. What did that look like? And more importantly, what did your then girlfriend or wife say about that?
It was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I went to quit, I did not. A lot of people they don't like their jobs. They didn't like their jobs. I actually did enjoy what I did. I did consumer electronics tech support. So like, I'd help moms and grandmas and stuff like that fix their phones and things like that. Get the viruses off old man's phones from doing whatever they do on their own phone. But when we saw that, sorry, that's just like it's one of like those like things. Is like anytime we got an old man that called in, it was just like, I got these pop-ups on my phone. I was like, I bet you do. Come on, let's go hit that. Let's go hit Google Chrome and clear some things out. Call it a day. It was a very consistent call. Sorry, we're going off tangent here again. um, but when I first quit, when we were thinking about opening it and we had the opportunity, I think for both of us it was just like, what do you do? And then also like when I told my girlfriend at the time, now wife, she was basically like, hey, since I've met you, you've always said you wanted to own a business. You've always said um, that this is what you wanted to do. So, hey, I got this. Like, I can help, out more and, carry us, what you can do while you kind of get everything going. Um, and she supported it through the whole way. She supported it to this day, through thick and thin. I greatly appreciate her for everything she did, and even like Justin's wife, right? Like she supported him through this because it's very easy to say like, "Oof, I don't know if I want you to like risk this." Like, we have a good thing going, but both of them supported us through it, and that's all. That's what you want in a partner, is someone that supports you, and we greatly appreciate them for it. Um, just because it is like it's not a small just thing to say like, hey, we're going to open up the store. We don't know what we're doing, but hey, we're gonna see it through.
Yeah, I mean like you said, having a supportive wife is one of the top things that you need in life. So,
100%.
Yeah,
Day one
that's
A1.
day
Day
one.
one A1. Mm.
100%. There's one thing that Justin and I can both agree on, and 100% is that like we both would not be in the position that we are without our wives, girlfriends then, but wives now.
Yeah.
They have supported us through thick and thin. They've been there for all the ups and downs, all the downs and ups, and even the sideways. You know what I mean? um, so like we greatly appreciate them, and this place, like we wouldn't even be this far without them. Like they've hit the late nights with us. They've been there for the $8 sales, through painting, the online, like just trying to build out our store and stuff like that. They've did anything that we've asked as far as like when we needed help and things like that.
That's awesome. You're preaching in here to us now. I guess keep preaching. I'm assuming that this question will kind of go with the last one, but
Mhm.
what or who inspires you to keep going and advance Music City Vintage and just keep going in general?
At this point in my life, it is probably my wife and my daughter. For me personally, just because like I want my daughter to be able to see you know her dad and like what he's grown, and then also hopefully be a part of it as she grows up and throughout the years, be able to see like what it takes, and to be able to own your own business, even if that's not the path that she wants to go, but like see that like like learn the bit, like just learn about life and like business. I think it would be like a really cool thing to like be able to grow up with your parents owning a business. Just because you see a lot of things that like the average person won't see, whether it's just like like it's behind the scenes, like you understand how I feel like if you have a parent that owns a business, you understand the differences of businesses, the different mindsets, and it's easier to like puts you ahead in life a little bit because you understand like an entrepreneurial spirit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I had something and it just totally went away from me.
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to give you your flowers because in one sense, yes, you guys own a business, but in another sense, you guys, for me at least, you filled a huge hole in Nashville, in the culture of Nashville vintage market or whatever. You guys, there was other places that sold vintage, but nobody had a community that you guys had. And we mentioned it started from the flea market, and you still have those people there. Um, and so to me, there's no other company or people, I guess. I guess it's just the people of who you and Justin are that are in Nashville and are a part of the community the way you are growing up here. And I guess what I have to say is thank you, because the reason why we started this is we kind of set out similar to your beginning of we wanted to sell stuff. And that turned into maybe we're not that committed to selling stuff, but we still want something. We want a place like Round 2, because that's where we kind of all started watching the Round 2 of the show. We want somewhere like that for Nashville. And then you guys announced that you're opening a store and all that. And there's no question really here. It's just I just wanted to give you your flowers and say thank you guys, because Nashville, the community around Nashville of vintage sneakers, whatever you want to call the area that we're talking about, would not be at all the same as it is now if it weren't for you guys. So I just think that's pretty amazing.
Nope.
And I'll say this too: every single place that I go to, whether it be Jenny at Red Rose Hype, or the new place that I went to this past, I guess it was a couple months ago now, Made Low. Everybody knows you guys, and I can't say that about anybody else. It's just that you guys,
Vinci out there.
everybody is, everybody pays their respects because they know you guys are the OGs. So I just wanted to pay mine as well. So thank you guys for doing what you do, taking a huge leap of faith, and we're all appreciative of it.
No, man, I'll be honest with you. Like, that's cool and all, but I mean, right? Like, I think Nashville had like Nashville was getting the culture out, right? I think it took it a minute to get there, but I mean, right? We wouldn't have been here without the people supporting us. So it's like always that like thing in my mind is like yeah, we may have been around for a while, but it's like shoot, like imagine if we didn't have like anyone that like knew about us or like that didn't support us at the flea market to the point where we could even think that like that was even possible and stuff like that. So it's always like cool to look back and just see that like this culture was here, but it was just like you just needed like whether like we had stores, one store is like Rooted, Red Rose, us, like even Made Low, even Ugly Dog Vintage, Soul Socket. Like if you look Soho Gallery, Throwback Thursday, right? Like there's a lot of stores now in the city, and like it's good because like it's starting to form. We're still. I don't think we're like fully established yet. Like our culture on like the main scale, right? But I think like we have a good culture here, and it's like like no one really just like hates each other and things like that. It's all just like positive. Like we don't mind sending people to Red Rose. Red Rose sends people to us. We don't mind sending people to Made Low. Made Low will send people to us, and cool things like that. And I think that's really good because a lot of times you go to some of these other cities and they're just like, nah, we don't mess with them, fam. We don't mess with them at all. We don't talk to them. They the ops. But like here, it's just like, oh yeah, like like someone comes in like looking for like hype stuff. We may be like, hey, yeah, go to Red Rose. She's about 15, 20 minutes out the road. Go there. Go to Rooted. Go to like Soul Socket. Hey, check out Soho. Check out Throwback. We'll say these things. It's not just one of these everyone. There's more than enough money here in Middle Tennessee to like for everyone to eat, right? And I think that's really good. And I think it's also like helping put us on like I don't want to say the national stage, but it's like also good to see like we can turn out for events and we can we can make these things happen in our culture, and we're like pushing it, right? We're not just like everyone's just not like looking out for themselves. It's just like, hey man, like we're a lot of people don't realize most of the stores are actually in a group chat. And so like, and it's really cool. So it's like, hey, we saw someone over here doing something, watch out for him and stuff like that. So it's like actually like a really like genuine, like people are trying to help people here. We're not trying to like have someone scam one person, scam this person. It's like genuinely like we're trying to like help as a whole and like push each other. And I think that's good.
That's really cool.
That is awesome. And that brings up a question I hadn't even thought about. So I mean, Jenny's texting y'all and being like, hey, Alfredo's over here trying to sell me 10 pairs of Yeezys that came straight from Fufu, China, and he's headed to you. Like, is that what y'all are like going through in your group chat sometimes?
It's not like super active. I mean, it's like, hey man, it may be like, hey, watch out for this person, or
gotcha.
like you
Like
know,
the
this person's
Masons and the
walking
Hayes
around.
and the Landons of the world, like watch out for them. Don't let
Hey,
them in your
you
school.
said it, not me. You said it, not me.
Hey, Hayes is on record for bringing you guys those fake Obama Air Forces. So
Hey,
you got to watch out for him.
Hey, man, we got those hanging. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate them. I have no lie. Like when they came in, and I don't know if I was there that day or I came in the next day, and I was like, yo, I've been wanting to see a pair of these for a hot minute. Because it's really cool, because it's like there's like it's always an interesting conversation when you talk about like bootlegs and stuff, because like as much as like right, we hate fakes, but it's just like so many things now have just like blurred that line in a sense of like we know what fake, like we like, hey, this is a fake brand, that is fake. But then like you have like these like bootlegs that are like kind of making a comeback, because like right, that was like that early 2000s like kind of thing. And so it's very interesting to like see it come back, and then like the new like interpretation of it, and like how people are like, some people are messing with it, some people still don't mess with it. But I think it's really cool because it's also like shows the like kind of like a different age group. Like right, when you see those Obama forces, you like remember that era. Like that was an era. It's just like the see-through Air Force Ones and stuff like that. Like it's just always cool to see that kind of stuff, because it's like, even though like a lot of it is fake, it's also like an era thing where it's like, I remember this. Like,
Yeah.
I just remember like dudes were really out here walking around with some Obama Air Force Ones on. You know what I'm saying? No one like right, like you look back, but I think that's also cool because that like it adds to the culture, like in the past, like for the past and the future. And that's kind of like one of the things I think we enjoy about it, is like we get to see the past, like we get to enjoy these things that weren't necessarily like cool back then, right? Like if some, we've had people come in and ask us about those, like, hey man, I saw those Obamas, man. Y'all selling those? And we're like, nah, man, they're for like displaying. He's like, man, I got a picture of my pops in these from like '06, man. He got the Glock in the pocket or something. You know what I'm saying? It's just some wild stuff. It's wild stuff, but it's really cool to just like, you know what I'm saying, see it and just like hear where like other people's like experiences with some of the like random stuff that we have there.
That's awesome. Man, we gotta let Hayes listen to this. We gotta make sure he tunes into this episode. That's so
100%.
cool.
Let us find a little like stock of Obama Air Force Ones. Oh man, those things will go like hotcakes, man. Hotcakes. We'll be like out here like, we believe.
That's amazing.
Coming for a third term.
Coming for the third term, man.
Question in terms of like Rooted, because obviously, you know, y'all's business model is very different than what Rooted's business model is. I mean, on release days, do y'all basically just see a line of people come through your door at like 10:20 after they go and pick up their pairs at Rooted, and they're like, cash me out, cash me out, cash me out?
Sometimes, occasionally, it's usually not like a huge line, but like we're also like 2 blocks away from like City Gear, like a City Gear on Gallatin. So we see sometimes after our shoe release, we'll see some people come through, definitely like, hey man, I got the receipt in the box. What can you do for me? Let's make something shake here, man. I'm trying to make this $40. What can we do? And you know, hey, we gotta make something shake, man. Let's see what we can do, my friend. So it's always interesting. It's all I always say, like, one of the cool things is like when you see like hype releases, it's always interesting to see like if people are going to bring them in. So like with like the Jordan 1s, the Lost and Founds, no one was bringing them in. It was like hard to get you a hands on a pair because people were like, to the soul. Hey man, I'm taking these to the grave, man. I'm taking these to the grave, man. Man, these you see how high they are right now, you know. They're like, hey man, see, 50 right now. Nothing but up from here. Can't let them go, man.
Did you see any Tiffany Air Forces come through?
Not yet. I expect to probably see like stuff like that. We usually will see like one or so in the first like week or so.
Okay.
So I expect to see probably like one in the next like few days, maybe this weekend. Sure. I don't know if we'll buy it. It all depends on price with those ones. Sure. What a lot of shoes like those, how we look at them is like our business model is more wrapped around like selling to the everyday consumer. So like one of our big philosophies as far as our store has been like since the kind of the beginning is we want the person that's going to go into the mall and buy a t-shirt, right? Like that's your like average person. And so like a lot of our pieces, our average price piece on our thing is going to be reflective of very similar to like if you went to the mall and just like buy one, but you can get a shirt that you won't see anyone else look in, or you can buy a shirt where you can literally see 10 shirts right there.
Yep.
That's on you, my friend. That's on you. Like you make that decision. Not everyone agrees with that decision, but hey, it's all part of it. But it's all love. But it's one of those. We want to have shoes that are kind of affordable for someone at any different level. So we have shoes starting from $50 all the way up to I think our most expensive pair right now is like $2,500. But I would say like probably like 80% of them are like sub $300. So like in that retail ish area.
Yep. Can we play guess the shoe that's 2,500?
Sure.
All right, I like this game.
Two.
Two of them for 2,500.
You have two for 2,500. All right, just name the brand.
Jordan and Nike SB.
Okay.
I will say Jordan collab. That will help you out.
That was a Jordan collab.
Jordan collab and Nike SB. Is the Nike SB one of the it wouldn't be the lobsters yet because those are like around 1,000. So is it one of the Grateful Dead?
No. You're in that general time frame.
Okay.
Is the Jordan an off-white one?
UNC. Let's see you out here.
UNC.
See you out here. Yeah.
UNC.
All right. I figured that was.
What would the SB be if it's in that general time frame? Oh man.
He said it's the general time frame of the Grateful Dead ones.
I'd say probably it released in the. It's always weird because like I feel like during COVID, like everything, like all the years, like,
it's all the same.
Up. I would say it's been within the last 2 years.
Okay.
It was probably the. I would say probably you could argue that it was bigger than Grateful Dead's, but it was up there.
Chunky Dunky without the special box.
With the special box.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to come in and see those if I have some time this weekend.
That's awesome.
Super cool.
Those are awesome.
That's dope.
All right. Now I got us off track again, so now we have to get back on the rails.
All right. Well, I'll go to one of our fun questions. If we started a Nashville Culture Hall of Fame and you got an exhibit, what would you put in the exhibit? This is just for Trey. You can have it. You can do Trey and Justin if you want to, but what's Trey's piece gonna be? You can shoes, shirts. You can add a couple different things.
Probably, if I was to do a shoe, it would be Shadow Jordan 1, or the other one may be just like one of the random like SB dunk highs that I prefer highs over lows, especially on dunks. Probably my picnic blanket dunk SBs. I took an interview with Nike and I did not get the job, and I wore those, so I was so happy to wear them. And they were like, "No, we're not gonna get this job." I was like, "Cool, I appreciate your time." But other than that, it would probably be like a lot of like video game tees. So like Metal Gear Solid. I like pretty much anything from like the PS2 era. Probably a lot of those tees would be in there. And then let me see. Now that I think about it, I have like a off color collection. It is 100% will get me canceled if I like posted them up kind of collection. But it's really cool. I'll just leave it at that. It's a very like cancellation kind of collection.
The cancellation collection.
I have
like
a lot
that.
of so it's really weird. I really enjoy like, I don't want to say off color humor, but like I enjoy the people who messed up in life, right? Like the OJs, Charles Manson, stuff like that. Like the people who like messed up really bad in life. But stuff like that, like why does someone own this shirt? Like this shirt should probably not exist. The more it is in that lane, the more that I'm like, I want that shirt. That's a nice shirt. So I have some really bad shirts. Like I can show you on YouTube. They would definitely take this live down. But thank Justin. I'll be honest with you. Thank Justin. Justin, like I'm all for like this is tasteless. This is like very tasteless. Let's put it out on let's put it front page on the Instagram page. And Justin's like, nah, man, we can't do that. We cannot do that. Justin saves the world from some wild stuff. I'll be honest with you here. Some wild stuff. Cause like I'm very much a fan of just like I don't give a damn on some stuff. And like he is like that's Justin is the face of Music City Vintage for a great reason. Hey, he is good talking. I am not good talking. I don't talk to people, right? Like I go off the rails. I'm an off the rails person here, right? Justin can keep it classy. This is why I'm behind the scenes. Like I'll throw some stuff at the wall. I'll run the hammers. I'll paint some stuff. I'll figure that part out. I'll let Justin do all the talking and like all the public interviews and stuff like that. He excels at that. You never know what's gonna come out my mouth, to be honest with you. I can hear my wife in the background right now shaking her head as I say that. Like no lie, I heard her go going off the rails here. I heard him go off the rails when I started talking about the shirts. She was like, "Oh, here he goes."
Sounds like we need to have a podcast in the back room at Music City Vintage.
Hey man, you just let us know.
Sounds like some stuff flies around in there. Pretty fun.
No, I promise you, we're butting up in there. Butting up in there.
All right, Dan, I got some rapid fire questions, but do you have any other questions before we get to that?
I had one other question, but then I forgot about it, so I'll think about it later.
All right, Justin. We talked about it a little bit, but
Ooh, I remember.
Okay, go for it, Dan.
All right. Okay, so now it feels like, and I think I know the answer to this question, but now it feels like everyone and their mother like knows about the bins or knows about vintage or knows about thrifting or thinks thrifting is cool or is a 16-year-old girl, like whatever. Like the list can go on. You can go to Brentwood High School, you can go to Antioch High School, and you know about thrifting. Do you feel like y'all are having more trouble when you're like going out to like pick things to like actually finding good product out there, or is there just so much out there that it's not as it's not so much supply and demand?
So at this moment, there's so many different avenues on vintage. So one of the things I always say is, like we have in our minds what vintage is, and then if you ask like a person that's like in their 50s, like they have a completely different like image in their mind of like they'll be like 90s ain't vintage, boy, that's soft hands. Red cap. Like that's all we do. Like true, like so it's really cool because like vintage in itself is just like saying like clothes, like right, like you got streetwear, you have high fashion, you have all these things, and the same way you have all those things in just like normal fashion, there's basically the vintage version of that somewhere. So like you have people who collect and like just do like vintage archive vape stuff from like the 90s and the early 2000s, where it's like a whole different eras. And how I think we look at it is like there's just eras, right? So like when I sit here and say, we were actually just having this conversation earlier today, when it's like when you think of like the Obama Air Force Ones and stuff like that, or the OG Twilight stuff, or one of the big ones, it was a Slipknot tee that we saw today, right? Slipknot. And I was sitting here like, this shirt's not that old. And then like I realized this shirt says it was from 2006. I was like, it's been almost 18 years since this shirt has released. I was like, that is crazy because I remember when it's like when this stuff was like brand new, like this stuff was like at Hot Topic and stuff, right? But it's just like in your mind, you're like, there's just that relation where you're like, that
Mhm.
was not that long ago, and then you're just like, dang, I was like, that was 15, 16 years ago, which like now is putting it on that edge of just like, oh, this stuff is basically about to come vintage. So there's always something new. But it's also like you have to like expand in a sense, right? Like when we first started selling at the flea market, we just really did sporting goods and stuff like that, like or sport, like more sports apparel and stuff like that. Which at the heart of what we do, we still do that, but like right, we've expanded more into like Harley, some true vintage, um, like we're expanding into women's now and things like that. And so the more broader that you can become, the more that you can basically catch, if that makes sense. Because
Yep.
just because like what we have always looked at is getting like more like hype and found, there's something else that's being overlooked, if that makes sense, or if that's going to be coming vintage, you know, in 2 years, 3 years, and things like that. So like I always say like when you look at like Halo, like OG Halo, like when you think of like golden era Halo, golden era Call of Duty, we think of like Modern Warfare 2, like the original Modern Warfare 2, Halo 3, and like this stuff is like almost 20 years old. And it's crazy to think about that, right? Like it's
That is
crazy to
crazy.
think. It's like
It's
when
like
you
I was
look at
playing
like
Rust the other day. I was just playing Rust when I, when I was
yeah,
sleeping over, spending the night with my friends. Like that was not long ago.
it
20
was
years ago.
yeah, and it's like 20 years ago, and it's like holy shit. Oh crap. I'm trying to help you out here. Don't want to get you demonetized. But it's crazy when you like, right? It's crazy to think that was like 20 years ago, but like that stuff is like our child, like like our teenage years, where it's like some of us still like, you know what I'm saying, are collecting that stuff. We're collecting things, but also like if you ask a 20, like, you know, a 20-year-old, this is the stuff that they grew up on as a kid. So now that's what they're looking for is like, I remember my older brother was playing Modern Warfare 2 and things like that. So it's very interesting in that like how it's always something new, if that makes sense. Like there's always a new era of things. And so there's, even though there people will come to like the bins or to like the thrifts and stuff like that, there's always something new to find. And there's always like um I think a lot of the things that people forget about is like curation, right? Like just because you can't find it at the thrift, like you can still like find it and then curate it. And so like you can curate. So like I have a homie, he does like curated like auto car tees and stuff like that, but it's not just like Ford, Chevy, like basic stuff. It's more like BMW, Lamborghini and stuff like that. And it's like he's like, you know, I never thrifted stuff, but like I can curate it. And it's also like having those connections and like meeting people that can like, you know, get you what you need, and like being always, you know, always being able to buy and things like that. That helps you kind of like keep maintaining constant like product inventory. And then there's always just like thinking of new ways to find inventory, right? Like literally what 2 days ago I had someone tag me in a post on the East Nashville group that someone was like, hey, I got 50 hats, where can I go sell them? You know, and it's just like Music City Vintage. And it's like, oh great, like hey, I greatly appreciate the homies tagging us in it. To where it's like, all right, cool. Like, and then the lady came in today. She said she had 50 hats, and it was like 100 hats, and it was just like, holy crap. So like, you know what I mean? It's just like one of those you just never know. And she was just like, oh yeah, these were my parents. So it's like that stuff is still out there. It's still in people's garages. It's still in things. So it's like it's just never ending. Like you're going to find it. It's going eventually you'll find it. It's just like one of those like you just got a lot more people out there now, so the competition is fierce, but you just got to keep at it.
Man, that's awesome.
That was a great question, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you. Good question. Yep. Thanks.
All right. Our rapid fire. Give us just a short answer for all of these. What are your thoughts on Crocs?
Never owned a pair. Look comfortable. Would try it.
Would you wear them out of the house?
depends on the colorway. I would say yes. I bought my wife some, and she just leaves them in the box. I actually bought them as a gag gift, so I got like the loudest like leopard print one with like the little giblets for her. But I want to say like I would, but then like I would. Have you ever been to the Croc store in Opry Mills? Like
I don't
first
think
off,
I
I
have.
wear a size 14, 15, so like it's already hard enough to find a shoe. So I went in there, like the Crocs were like $55. I was like, damn. I said these
Yes.
more expensive than some Nike slides, man. I was like,
Those
geez.
Crocs are honestly a scam. If you can't find them on Black Friday or like in Burlington, those are wicked expensive.
100%. I was like, I thought these things was like $30. I thought everyone's out here just paying $30 for these things. I said these things is $55 plus the little giblets. It was like another $20. I was like, $75? We're gonna be in this thing $75? What are we doing here, people?
Whew.
I buy Crocs about once a year, and I buy them only on Black Friday or if I find them in like Ross or Burlington.
I like that.
Yeah.
I do want to try like one of them like collab ones that are just like mad like kitty, like the Lightning McQueens or something like that. I don't know. I want one of those. No lie. I saw one that had like Pikachu's like the Pokemon on it. But like I wear a size 14, 15, and I think they was only in the kids section. I was highly upset. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was highly upset.
I did have a pair of Post Malone Crocs. I got them during a release, and I resold them for $200.
Oh dang.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was lit.
All right. What about on clouds?
On clouds. I don't know. I've seen them out there. Just can't do it. Like they look like they would be super comfortable, but then they also remind me of like that like weird Reebok era. A little bit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's that like era where like everything kind of looked like a weird runner kind of thing. That's
Yes.
kind of what they look like to me. But I would give them like I'd say it depends on your profession.
We like to say
if you're a soccer mom, check. If you or anyone else, no.
100%. You tell me you work at the hospital, you go ahead and run those things, man. That's you right there. That's you, friend.
Yeah, our other two people on the pod usually have some strong vitriol for the on clouds, but
and the Crocs.
Yeah, and the Crocs. That's very true. What are your thoughts on backdooring?
Well, obviously I'm on the gray market, so anything backdoor is a beautiful thing. I think I just honestly think it's part of it, right? Like, I think it's one of those like you can try to have a fair release, but also it's just part of it. You know what is friends and family, but the same thing's backdooring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, I know you, so you get this super limited expensive shoe. That's all backdooring really is, if you think about it. It's just like we're giving friends and family without you being important enough to actually get a friends and family. You know, it's always appreciated when it's you. Now, if I see someone else doing it, oh man, I'm hot. Like, come on, man, break some wild berry bread off with your boy. Come on, man. Come on, help me out here. But you see, I wear 14, 15, so like I'm just used to like, hey man, we ain't got your size, big fam. We ain't even got your size. You gotta hit the sneakers out, my boy.
Is it given the fact that you're 14, 15? I mean, I would imagine like stock goes. It's a bell curve. We start off at 7, and then we get to 10.5, and there's a million pairs, and then we get down to 14, 15. There's 10. I mean, is it easier or harder to hit on those? I'd imagine it'd be harder, right?
It's usually harder, in my opinion. Like normally, I don't even go for my size on sneaker anymore. I'm like, yo, it's a wrap. I ain't getting my size. Ain't no like if it's super limited, definitely not. I'm like, yo, I need that 10.5 for the resale, fam. Can't sit here and try my shot on this you only load in with 72 pairs. Man, nah, can't do that. Can't do that. Got 5,000 pairs loaded in. I only got 72. Nah. Go ahead, let me try for that size 10 and a half. No, it's cool. It's a double-edged sword. Like either it's like super expensive or it's super low, right? Or so like I'll give an example. Like the margin, like not the it's tough time to start talking about this, but the Tom Sachs shoes. Oof.
You might have a T-shirt about him in a couple years.
Hey, coming soon. Hey man, just let me know. I don't mind. I'll keep them around. I'll keep it around. But it's crazy because it's like I always say like the yellow pair, right? Yellow pair, super cheap. Relatively cheap. The brown pair is the cheapest, but I absolutely love these shoes. So I don't care what my boy did. I'm doubling up. But the yellow pair, I cannot make this up. I really wanted the yellow pair when they came out. They loaded in the sneakers. Sneakers loaded in. Had size 14. Out of stock. Loaded in the sneakers. like every size there, except it was a women's 15 and a half. Everything was lit up for you to touch, except that one button. And I was like, bruh. And now I look at it today, can't buy them. All the other sizes, all the normal 13, all the men's, all the way down to like 7 men's. And the women's equivalent of that, $200. Size 14, highest bid, 500, 600. Can't do it.
Oh, that's terrible. That's awful. Yeah. I'm opening up wounds over here. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
No.
Bad questions.
No, it's fun though. It's you got you still love the chase. There's just a lot of groups for big feet guys. We have a support group out there. You normies don't. Y'all just hey man. Like let me just walk into the store. Hey. Of course they have a size 10 and a half, 11 and a half, 9 and a half. It may got backdoored, but hey, they had it. Size 14. You like when Rudy gets it, I'm like. There's definitely only one of those. When I see that size, when that 14 show up, I'm like, yeah, that's only one of them. It'd be me. I'll be finding the same, it'd be the same 6 of us out here. Like, yo, which one of y'all got it? That's how it'd be. Like, I know you 6 people. One of us got it. Sure enough. Hour after the draws gonna end up or something. Man, I got that size 14, that size 15, man. I hit. Yep. Let me go ahead and stop looking for that email.
Oh, what is your personal dream Music City Vintage collab?
That's a really good question. My dream Music City Vintage collab. That was a good question. As far as clothing or just like anything?
You can do anything.
Man, I want to do something with OJ. No lie. That'd be fire. No. Probably just like Joe. I think Joe Freshgoods would actually be up there. Like, I think that would be a really cool one. I feel like he does like a lot of like unique stuff. I feel like I really like stuff. I personally love like super loud stuff. So like stuff that like how the Grateful Dead shoes are like super loud, super like, why are you wearing those? Probably at this point, I would love to do something with like a company like Mischief. I don't really want to do like a big collab with like a big company, but like something like Mischief where there's like something like super crazy and like you just don't like kind of know what they kind of cook up. I like the idea of just like having something where it's like, what are you guys gonna really do? Like, what do you do? Like, where did you get this idea from? That's kind of like, in my eyes, something like that. Like a company like Mischief or somewhere, where it's just like, what do y'all do? Y'all just be smoking like weed or something. Just be like, let's go make something. Something like that. I think that would be my dream collab.
All right. I only have a couple left. Tell us about the new vlogs that you guys are doing now.
So Justin is leading the kind of like the vlog team, and Colin as well. Colin records a lot of the vlog videos. He does a great job. They're out there killing it. We're trying to up our content, push and see content. Um, but just kind of showing like a lot of the kind of like what we do day in, day out, just kind of like some of the highlights, some of the things that you don't necessarily see on our social medias and things like that, kind of like some of our viewpoints on things that are coming out. So we're hoping to expand that kind of more frequently, and then hopefully just kind of as people want and kind of do what the people want to see.
Sweet. Yeah, I've really enjoyed them. I think it's cool. You kind of get a behind the scenes look. It's similar to round two.
Yeah.
They're not as long as round twos were. Those were
Ye-
sometimes a little too long. I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
They do a great job. The idea is like they always wanted to the point where it's not too long where you lose like you're just like, okay, I can't watch this anymore. But they want it long enough where it keeps your attention. But they're doing a good job. They're killing it over there with the content, trying to keep it consistent as well. So we have some more upcoming stuff. We're going out of town to ThriftCon, so we'll have that. I don't know if you saw the email post that we made. We do have some cool exclusive merch dropping. Please sign up for the email list. That is going to be the only way to get it. To be honest with you.
all right. Send us the link. Is it just on your website?
Yeah, it's just on our website. Like,
okay,
it's just one.
We'll post
those,
it on this description, so people can go sign up. All right, Dan, do you have any other questions? You got a top five?
You
just want to? Yeah, we'll just skip the top five. We've
Trey,
had a lot.
I've done like Mason will be like, "Hey Dan, do you have a good top five?" And I'll be like, "Let's talk about frozen meals."
It'll be a top five. That was a terrible top five.
Like terrible ideas from me. So
yeah.
we just like disregard my ideas.
Oh, I lied. I do have a few more.
I was gonna say, what is y'all's top five worst shoes that like have came out in just say the last like 3 years?
Ooh, I have a slide for one of them that it's not come out yet, but we talked about this last week. This has got to be one of the worst. Both of these are two of the worst shoes that I've ever seen. So this is a Reebok. It's real pony hair, I think.
That's ridiculous.
That's got to be one of the worst. And in terms of Nike, I think this has to be one of the worst shoes that I've seen.
Oof, I think bad.
A Panda with a Vomero, that's bad. That's one of the ugliest that I've seen.
I'll be honest with you here. Go back to that Nike.
Go back to the Nike. All right. If you're not on YouTube, you get on YouTube now.
Yes, please go YouTube. Come on over. That's just weird. It looks like ostrich skin right there on that toe box right there. That right there. Ooh. That looks, I'm not gonna lie to you, that looks like it could have been at the gas station. It definitely does.
If somebody brought these in to Music City Vintage, you'd have been like, those are bootleg. Or just get out.
This is what you hit them with. You're like, man, I ain't seen these ones before. But let me see what we can do for them. You always gotta look it up because you never know.
Yeah.
Some of those random ones like those Romeros and things like that, you just never know. But if it ain't looking hot, it ain't looking hot. You know what I'm saying? We can't just put everything. You can't just put anything out on these streets now, on these shelves. We got limited space now, and those can't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, you have any to add? I would say if I gotta add one more, it's the Martine Rose Shocks. I thought those were hot garbage.
Those are terrible.
100%. 100%.
Those are terrible. I think there were just a lot of weird like play off the Easy Foam runners that were just like, wait, what are we doing? Like when Jordan did that weird like, you can wear that one shoe and then pull it out of that other shoe. Like you bought 4 shoes, but there's 2 and they mesh into one. And one is like a flipper and one is like a foam. I was just like, what are we doing?
No, 100%.
It's
The
weird.
one that like I haven't seen. So like, have you ever seen one of those Jordan 1 switches where it has a zipper on
Oh
them?
yeah, I've
Yes.
not in person, but
So we recently got a pair in, and like that was like I saw them on the like on like pictures and stuff, and I was like, oh whatever. I saw it in hand. And I was like, this is kind of nice. This is kind of nice. I was like, I couldn't fit them. I couldn't like go super deep in them, but I was like looking at these like, this colorway, that's kind of nice. I was like, man, this. I don't know, man. Jordan they got something right there. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can buy 2 shoes in one time. The way they raising this retail price, this may be a move right here. I get me a low and a high for the price of one shoe. And then like that, I was like, let me see what the resale is on this. Ha, 300. I said, dang. Go ahead and put these back down. Man, I thought we were gonna be at about 2, maybe 220. I would pay 220, but 3. Ooh, that was right there.
Oh, that's tough. Those are tough.
Oh,
I don't know that I have any other. I mean, some of the cactus plant flea market, it was weird. Like,
ooh, the Grinch ones.
those were strange. Trey, it feels like that's something you might like.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have yet to see a size 14 in those, and I absolutely love those things. I don't know why. I was sitting here talking. I forgot who I was talking to. Probably my wife. She just listens to me like talk and just says yes to me. I was like, man, just imagine if I like got those and then just got like a ghillie suit or something, and just like walked around. Like in my mind, like these things just sound super cool. I know it's not probably like since 9/11, it's probably not a good idea to do things like that, but it's just like nice. Like, you know, it's just like having some like growing some grass on your shoes or something, man. It's like it's really nice. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I really love loud stuff like that. I don't know how to dress at all, right? So when I sit here and like say these things, don't think that I like spend like a lots of money on clothes because I don't. I'm a t-shirt pants dude, and that's pretty much it. I may spend money on a hat or something, but like I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I will spend money on shoes. That's where I get all my like personality for my outfits at.
Mhm.
But those Grinches, man. Those Grinches are something else. Those are nice. I gotta disagree with you guys right there. That's a goddamn nice shoe. I know it don't make any sense, but that's a nice shoe.
So, what are your thoughts then on the like the off-white, just like the terrible like Terracon, like all those that are just like the really off the wall off-whites that are just not Vapor Maxes and Air Jordan 1s and things like that.
So I had when they first did the track ones, I got one of the track ones that had the spikes in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I put them on. I felt like I was goofy. Like I was just like I was like, what are we doing here? This is not it, fam. Like first off, like I'm a big dude. You know, I'm 300 plus pounds, right? So like it makes me look top heavy. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't for me. You know, you gotta be honest with yourself sometimes. I'm honest with myself. Like I'd be like, you know what? This ain't it for me. This ain't for me. The boots, I want to like them. I want to so bad, but I can't. I can't. I really can't. Like they look cool on some people. Like Noah at our shop, he's like an ACG guy, so it looks super good. They look super good on like an ACG guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen those pictures where it's like a dude that looks it's like the dude be in the corner and he'd be like with the little glasses on, all you see is the little light in the glasses and he's like, man, they don't even know I got this $1,500 Arc'teryx fucking outfit on. Like, that's his style right there. So you know, like someone like that definitely works for him. Me? Nah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So what do y'all think is the most overhyped like collabs or like model that's been like really just like killing it, but you think it's kind of overhyped? I'm just curious.
That's a great question.
I'm not huge on anything hype in general. But overhyped stuff. I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to our podcast because I'm sure I've had some very strong takes. That probably ended up like really sounding stupid, but
hey, you gotta die on some hill eventually.
Yeah,
you gotta die on the hill eventually.
I think that I do think it's interesting where like the New Balances and the Kiss and the Asics, and I mean you need to get Landon on to talk about Solomon. Because I mean just like all of those, it has been wildly weird to see some of those companies be like mainly in REI, and now it's like Finish Line is releasing Solomon, and it's like, wait, what are we doing here? Like, what? Who made this decision? Like,
I agree with that 100%.
What higher up was like, let's now start selling like something that you should hike the Grand Canyon in?
Did Solomon get famous just because the guys at Complex started wearing them? Like, did they get a kickback because they just said these are cool? Because that's the first people that I heard rocking them, and I still don't. I know it's in the news, so that's why I put it on there, and Landon now loves it. But I just don't understand it. They're hiking shoes.
Yeah, it's strange. It's kind of just like a runner comeback in general, but like a weird runner hiking. Like it's almost ACG-esque, but Nike's not cashing in on it. Like they're not throwing out ACG shoes.
Man, because ACG shoes be down near $350. $350 retail, man. Like, yeah. You be looking at ACGs like, man, I like them shoes, but every time you see that ACG on a sneaker on sneakers, you're just like, ooh, I know it's that's like, about to be high.
It's like Nocta. It's like, wait a second, this was like supposed to be just a Nike jacket you could get in the clearance store for $60, and now it's $400. Like, when did this happen?
100%.
That's what ACG is. It's like a undercover Nocta.
There you go. I believe that. I agree with that.
All right, I'm out of questions. Well, actually, I'm not. I could have like 500 more questions right now, but we all got to get to bed. But before we leave, I just want to know if you were to recommend. We'll keep it at. Let's cap it at two other people for us to invite on the pod. Who would they be? Knowing that we've already had Justin on.
Knowing that we already had Justin on. I would invite Benji from Melo. He's a good guy. It's great to see his like growth in the game and things like that. And it's also cool to see the next generation kind of move up. Another person that I would like to see is maybe like just kind of in like a different culture kind of relation, like maybe like Z from Soho Gallery.
Is that 23 Penny on Instagram?
Yeah,
that's the same. Okay, we've had other people tell us that we need to have him on too, but I don't think he ever wanted to come on. I don't know why, but we don't really have a personal relationship with him. So we need to get out to Soho Gallery and go see him. Maybe then he'll change his mind.
He's an elusive guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's an elusive guy, but I would give him. Let me see who else. I like to say people who are like pushing, trying to push the culture forward. You could do. Man, it's like I know so many people, but it's like I'm trying to put them in my mind, but like I'm trying to like also think of like I don't want to give you no one that's boring. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
I think Ray from Rooted would be a really good interview.
I've thought about that. He's been on my short list for a little bit.
Ray's an interesting guy. I already got Jenny. Could do Michael Dixon. He owns Snap. Oh, I thought I left. I was like, oof. Let me see. Michael Dixon's really good. Sari. He owns Sneaker Box out in Murfreesboro.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people now in the culture that
There
are
is
trying to
there's
push.
a ton.
We'll start with that list. I think that's a good list.
Sorry.
That's
Yeah.
good. It'll take us
You
a
asked for
while to
two,
go
I'll
through
get-
that
yeah.
list.
You asked for two. I'm gonna give you more. I try to plug people. I try to support the community.
Man, well,
Being that said, follow us on at Music City VTG. Man.
Yes.
Oh yes, that we were about to get to that. So, yep, go to Music City Heat is where they find you, right? And
that is where they find me. Don't come looking though. Go there. Go there.
Go to Music City Vintage. That's where you find them. Yeah, shout out anything that you want to shout out, and then we'll go through what Dan and I learned today, and we'll finish off with you, Trey.
Cool. Well, hey, we got new hats dropping. Unofficially, officially now, I guess, since it will be on here. If you are an email subscriber, we're going to drop an exclusive one for you all. So if you missed out, become an email subscriber. It'll instantly ask you as soon as you open the website. We are bringing back our $8 sale. What is today?
I don't know.
Not the
19th.
14th. 20th. I think it's the 25th. Saturday, March 25th. We are bringing that back. So the entire store will be cleared out and we will be filling it with nothing but $8 items. So it is stuff from the archives. It's probably stuff that's been in there since we were at the flea market. There's stuff in there that we don't know, and then we just literally get to pulling stuff out of there, and we just don't stop until we see the back of the wall. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. I've already seen a couple rap tees that I'll put in the $8 bin, and then we'll be doing some discounted shoes, plenty of hats, plenty of steals and deals come through.
What time does that start at?
It's going to start at noon, but you're going to want to get there early. Last time we had 120 people in line. And it's not like we just like put it out and then like if you get it, you get it. No, we keep restocking. So we restock throughout the pretty much every 15, 20 minutes. So there's always new stuff going out that day. So definitely worth coming through. Check out the YouTube at Music City VTG. We got new content coming there. Justin and the boys are killing it out there. And I appreciate you guys for having me on.
No, it's been a pleasure.
We thank you. Dan, what'd you learn today?
Hey, never give up on your dreams and always find someone who's going to support you as much as you support yourself. Amen to those wives out there, those honeys 100%. And those monies.
Thanks, Dan. I couldn't have said it better myself. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll finish up with our admin announcements. Last week we announced that we have a partnership, discount code with Grateful Apparel. They're out of New York City. Go back to last week's episode to hear Hayes and I talk about what they're doing. All their profits go to building halfway houses in the New York City area. So really cool brand. Love what they're doing. If you're on YouTube, you can see some of their new clothing that has come out recently. If you use the code StillDrippingTN, you can get 15% off there. And I think that's it. Make sure you go to the Music City Vintage $8 sale happening on March 25th. That's just 11 days from now. And I think that's all we've got. Thank you guys for listening. You can follow us at StillDrippingTN, and you can follow Trey and his company at Music City VTG. And I think you said that was on YouTube and on Instagram. Go follow what they're doing. Go to their website and sign up for their newsletter to get the exclusive on the hats that are dropping soon. Appreciate the inside information there, Trey, on that one. We'll keep it hush hush after this. We won't put it on Instagram at all. So, anyways, we thank you so much. I mean, when we started this podcast, I think you and Justin were probably the two people that we wanted on first. And now that we've got you both separately, we'll have to get you both back together, and maybe we can do something at Music City Vintage. That would be really dope. We've had Cullen on. We've had him on a couple times, so you mentioned him as well. So yeah, a lot of love for from us to you guys, for including us on some of the different things that you guys have done, and just a huge thank you to filling a huge hole in the Nashville community. I think a lot of people have come together because of you guys, and we are very appreciative of that. So thank you for coming on. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for having us. You guys are always welcome. Come on by. We got a space for you in case you ever want to shoot one live in Music City. Let us know. We got the event center space. Just let us know. So hey, just let us know.
All right.
We'll make something happen. I promise. I know.
Trey, I've said this is my last question about 10 times already, but this is my true last question, because Hayes is a maker of beats, and we have a few preloaded on here, and I was wondering, do you freestyle?
I do not freestyle. I wish I could say I did.
Okay.
I do not freestyle. I think Dan got it though.
I think so, because Hayes is our usual freestyler. But Dan, you got it this week, or are you feeling a little loosey-goosey with the lips?
He's probably going to go nuts to butts pretty quick, so we may not need to do that tonight.
All right, give it to me. I'll give a good spoken word. I'll do that for you.
Let's do that.
Let's see. This is just a random beat that Hayes made.
Okay. Oh, I can't rap on this. Not at all. I'm just gonna embarrass myself out here. But I'll leave you with this. If you were feeling down and out, talk to someone. If you ever need like help or need someone to speak to, you always have a friend somewhere. And someone's always willing to listen to you, even if you don't believe that. I lost a friend recently just because no one, there was no one he can talk to. So there's always someone that you can talk to. And if you're having like hard time with mental health or anything like that, always try to reach out to someone, because that's an important thing that doesn't get spoken about enough. So please, if you ever need help or anything like that, please do talk to someone.
Amen.
Amen.
Preaching again. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.